What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, fresh out of the North London derby, going over to the Squatter Stadium, drawing 2-2. Here's our player ratings. What do you make out of the game, first of all, Sim?
Yeah, look, it was a great game. Again, North London derby never lets us down. I thought it was a great advert for the Premier League, and I thought it was end-to-end stuff throughout the game. I think it was as much to give for both teams' flawed defences as it did to anything, but it was a really good game of football. Shame, obviously, went 2-0 up. Couldn't get the result in the end of the day, but I think it was a step in the right direction in terms of performances.
Yeah, I think definitely in that first half, probably the best performance we've put in this season. Much to be desired about that second half performance, but we'll get into that. But anyway, let's get into the player ratings. We'll start off with Hugo Lloris. We gave him a big 9. I thought Hugo Lloris, it was his best performance for a while. I thought absolutely sensational. Look, I know you're pulling a funny face, but when have you seen Hugo put so many big saves in one game? I thought about three
Man City a few weeks ago.
Man City, it wasn't to this calibre. I thought Hugo made 1 or 2 good saves in that game, but I thought that game was more to do with City's poor finishing than Hugo's great saves. I thought this was more to do with Hugo's great saves, because I think Arsenal were putting good finishes in there. Just they couldn't get it. Well, they got it past him twice, but I thought he was just a match for most of their shots. Pepe had a chance. Aubameyang. There were even more than that. I thought there were 3 or 4. Yeah, Guendouzi as well. Guendouzi. And not only was the saves, but it was his follow-up from the saves as well that he was grabbing up. And I think it was just an absolutely sensational display from Hugo, a captain's performance.
Yeah, I agree with you. Real commanding performance from him. So, again, we say it a lot. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think consistently he has one of the highest save percentage ratings in the league. Always near the top of that league, and that's such an important.
I think he was in the top 3 last year, wasn't he?
And again, he's in the top 3 this season. I think he's second to I think Edison.
Yeah.
But I think he's a fantastic keeper. Again, if it wasn't for him, it could have been a big scoreline and some world class saves in there. And I'm happy he's still our keeper, because a lot of people are calling for his head in the summer, and I'm happy we stayed strong and didn't replace him, because he's had a good start to the season.
Do you think on the balance of the 2 goalkeeper performances yesterday, it kind of puts to bed that Hugo against Leno?
I said for sure Hugo's better.
Yeah,
than Leno.
I think Hugo as well, but the Arsenal fans I think Leno.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not convinced by Leno. Again, he made, although to be fair to Leno, he made some world class saves as well.
He did make world class saves, but that clanger for the first goal, it's just out of nothing. It's a complete weak shot from Lamela, and for some reason he parries it. I don't know why, but and then
really weak parry, and
Eriksen has an easy shot on goal.
I think that's something that's something that Hugo's quite good at. Those holding on to those shots. I know he's made a few high profile mistakes, Hugo, but I think he's recovered from them. And I think last season wasn't his best season, although he did have some very good games as well. I think he's the better keeper out of Leno, and I think he needs the respect of being one of the best keepers in the league, because I think that's what he deserves.
Definitely. And also, when you're looking at it, I think Hugo, in terms of only Premier League performances, I think there was only one mistake which led to a goal from him last season, and that's only Premier League. I think most of his mistakes came in and most of his mistakes came in the Champions League last season. Mm-hmm. So in terms of actual Premier League performances, he is most definitely up there and better than Leno for sure.
Agreed. Next up, Davinson Sanchez. We gave him a 3. I mean, it's difficult for him because
you got to feel for him.
Yeah, you got to feel for him because he clearly wasn't comfortable in that position, but he struggled big time. I think down that right hand side, or Arsenal's left hand side, I think they ruthlessly attacked him down that side. I think Aubameyang and Kolasinac doubled up time after time, and he was really struggling to deal with them. But I think the most frustrating thing from a Spurs point of view was when we had possession and when we gave it to him, he looked so uncomfortable. He didn't look like being in possession. He couldn't pull off a pass. He kept trying to dribble it past whoever was on Arsenal's left and getting dispossessed. And I think it was a real bad day at the office for him. To be fair to him, while Aubameyang was on the left-hand side, he kind of kept him quiet a bit. But I think it was more Kolasinac who was really... Kolasinac was the one who was giving trouble time after time.
Yeah, like you said, he didn't look comfortable attacking. He didn't look comfortable defensively. For me, I would have started Aurier. I know Aurier hasn't been fit and what have you, but if he's on the bench, surely he's on the bench for a reason, because he's ready to play. Maybe if he's not ready to start, but you can see how much he's struggling, then why not take him off? So kind of blame Poch a bit for leaving him out there after he's seeing how uncomfortable he is. I think Davinson probably does have the tools to survive at right back. If Toby does, then why doesn't Davinson?
I think the difference is Davinson's not as good on the ball, is he?
That's true. That's true. But at the end, he's got the pace. He's got the defensive skills. I thought he can do his job as a makeshift right back. But look, I don't want to see him there again. Let's be honest. But
it really shows the difference when we put Foyth there and when we put Davinson there. How much of a difference that made, like when a player who's comfortable on the ball goes into right back, how much of a difference that makes.
Definitely.
Because Davinson, that was the big right for me. Not his. I think defensively, look, he struggled, but it wasn't fatal. But on the ball, he was awful. Really bad.
He also had a hand in their second goal.
The first goal.
Sorry, the first goal, yeah. So Danny Rose doesn't get it clear. We'll get to that in a second. But then it comes to Davinson Sanchez, and he also should get it clear, and he kind of clears it straight to Guendouzi.
Yeah, and then exactly a bit of a better clearance there. Or even if he finds Winks, then I think again we don't concede that goal.
Exactly, just find someone in white. That's all you need to do.
I think he wasn't finding anyone all day, which was really frustrating. Yeah. And hopefully he never has to play there again. Although Pochettino after the game said he was one of the best performers on the pitch. So I think maybe just giving him some confidence, probably, because I probably just want to hang him out to dry after forcing him play at right back. But it was interesting hearing Poch say that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, look, he's a makeshift right back, and he just didn't suit that role. But like I said before, I blame Poch for not bringing in Aurier in the game, at least at 60 minutes or something. But anyway, moving on to Danny Rose, we gave him a 4. What can I say? Anything but that clearance for that first goal in the last minute of the half. Like, I don't understand, what are you doing? He is just dribbling it out, waiting to be tackled. Like, get rid of it, and you go into the half 2-0 up, and then we see a completely different second half on our hands. But yeah, I can't make sense of it. I really can't make sense of it. How many mistakes has this guy made at the Emirates?
Too many. We all started at that FA Cup game when he slipped on the halfway line and Rosicki scored, but he's made a few mistakes this season, and it's getting we were kind of like a broken record again. Also for the second goal, he should have. I know Jan Vertonghen fell asleep, but I think he should have been covering round again. Again, he didn't cover around to help his centre back, and that's I think the third time now that's happened this season, which has cost us a goal. It's quite frustrating for Rose at the moment. I think he had a few good moments. He had that really good block from Pepe. Looked like he was about to score with his head, and I think he blocked that. And Pepe was giving him a tough time throughout the game, but I thought he dealt with him relatively well. Seeing as Pepe, didn't get much joy from that side. But again, real sloppy moments for him. That mistake for the first goal was unforgivable. I'm sorry. What was he doing? He just ran into the Arsenal man. You're 30 seconds away from half time, and I don't know what he was thinking. Really, really stupid play from Danny Rose. Really frustrating, because I think if he doesn't make that mistake, it's a good chance we win this game. So frustrating.
But what disappointed me about Danny as well is his distribution. Like, what's happened to his distribution? He can't pass to a guy in white. I don't understand. He used to be so good at his passing and his crossing, and it's just all gone to shit. I don't know where it's gone.
Yeah, I think his passing it's not too bad, but I think his crossing is really, I agree with you, it's gone to shit. Really has. Like, he can't cross the ball in, like, at all accurately, and it's really frustrating. He's got to shape up. He really has to shape up.
Alright, move on.
Next we got Jan Vertonghen. We gave him a 6. It was good to have him back in the team. I think I think him and Toby, that partnership, definitely gave us a bit more solidity in the centre. However, he did fall asleep for that second goal. Aubameyang coming in behind him.
What was it about Jan Vertonghen at the Emirates as well?
Yeah, last season, obviously, he got sent off, didn't he, and had a bit of a shocker. This season, fell asleep for that second goal. First goal, he got done a bit as well by Lacazette, you got to say. Although I think it was a more good play from Lacazette than bad defending from Vertonghen for that goal. But I thought it was good to have him back. He was always going to, first game back at Arsenal away, it was always going to be difficult for him up against Lacazette and Aubameyang and Pepe, real tricky, quick players. But I thought he did well for the majority of the game. I thought he made some real vital interceptions at real crucial moments where it looked like Arsenal were going to break on us. But falling asleep for that second goal is really disappointing for a defender with his experience. Yeah,
I felt his game was okay. The only thing was literally the 2 goals. I think the first goal, it was hard for him, yes, but I still think that he could have put a challenge in there. You're talking about either giving away a penalty, making the challenge, or conceding a goal kind of thing. So I think you've got to take the risk.
Could have been a red card.
Yeah, that's true. But a player of Jan Vertonghen's quality, I think you back him to make these kind of challenges, these last ditch challenges. But the second one, I think, was big time his fault. But anyway, let's move on to Toby. We gave him a 7. Nothing much to note of Toby, to be fair. I think he was that commanding presence, probably the best of our back line, or actually definitely the best of our back line, because he didn't make mistakes like Yamatongan. He was that calm presence in there. But can't really say much more about Toby.
He was a calm presence in the sea of chaos, I would say.
Exactly, yeah.
He didn't have much opportunity to kind of play the long ball that he loves to do. I think Arsenal didn't give him any time in the ball really, and it showed. I think he showed off his defensive quality most of the time, and I thought it was a really good display from him. He's been our mainstay. It's interesting to see him now. Ever since last season, he's been back to the defender. He's playing every game. He's been our mainstay at the back after all the talk of him potentially leaving and having injury problems and all. I think he's finally put all those.
And he's the one most looking like he signed the contract as well. It's crazy.
So after all that talk of he's put all that to bed now. He's probably the most settled of all our back four.
Well, it gets put to bed when he signs that contract.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Moussa Sissoko, we gave him a 7. I think majority of the time it was a good display from him. I think he battled hard in that centre mid. He had a lot of running to do all over the pitch, covering for Sanchez a lot as well in that right back spot. But the most frustrating thing, as most of the time is with Sissoko, is his end product, which a couple of times he had really good opportunities to kind of either test the keeper or get a shot on target, and he just fluffed it big time. I've never seen a player with such a bad end product in my life. I mean, I think Zakora probably had a better shot than this guy. It's unbelievable. His technique is just woeful, just blazing over the ball.
The funny thing is, before he joined Spurs, you saw him score bangers and stuff. I don't get it. He scored against us as well.
Yeah, he used to score the odd like 25-yard pile driver, but that seems to be completely gone out of his game.
Yeah.
You still see this. Like, I think he helped us a bit in transitions when we're transitioning from defence into attack, and he would break those lines, and then he would find a man like Eriksen and help us counter-attack Arsenal's possession. And I think he did play well for the majority of the game. And given that a lot of people were complaining about Winks and Sissoko together last game, I think it worked quite well this game. But I think it's kind of different qualities you needed. When Winks and Sissoko playing against a team who are going to sit back and let you have the ball, that's when they struggle. But against a team like Arsenal who are going to press you, they're quite capable of wriggling out of a press and breaking on you and setting up attacks. So I think this kind of was his forte, this kind of game.
I think Moussa Sissoko was proper back at it this weekend. I think that it's his best performance of the season so far, like we said about Hugo. He was just everywhere. He was literally everywhere on the pitch. He was battling Arsenal. Arsenal found it really hard to get the ball off him, I felt. There was obviously, you touched on it, that chance in the first half which he blazed over and wide, and then that one in the last minute where it drops to him, and everyone in the Spurs end is just like,
get on target.
Just please, this one time. Just please, this one time. But no. It's the standard Sissoko. But the weird thing about it is he had Eriksen to his right, he had Lo Celso to his left. Just play it into one of them.
Yeah, literally. So frustrating, but look, that's what you get with Sissoko. You get the bad with the good, and fortunately for us, I think the good's outweighing the bad at the moment. But if he could shoot, this guy would be one of the best midfielders in the league, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. So moving on to Harry Winks, we gave him an 8 after putting, everyone's been talking about Harry Winks these last 3 games, saying, oh, he's not that good, blah, blah, blah. But I think Harry Winks absolutely showed the Premier League what he's all about against Arsenal. I think the first half, I think he was the best player on the park. He was absolutely everywhere, buzzing around, winning balls back, high pressing Arsenal. And he was just sensational. Second half, performances dropped like the team did. I think Guendouzi kind of did a number on him in the second half, but all in all, I think it was a brilliant performance from Winks.
Yeah, I think he really played. I think Arsenal kind of played into his hands of it, playing the 3 defensive midfielders. I think the high energy from Winks was really impressive in that first half. I thought he was so good, and I thought that little pirouette to pass it to Son to win the penalty was absolutely fantastic. As Graham Souness said, he sent Maitland-Niles for an ice cream with that pirouette. Absolutely brilliant from Harry Winks. And I thought second half it was a lot tougher for him, especially when Dani Ceballos came on. They had an extra creative player who was playing in between the lines, and it was a lot harder for Winks to pick him up. And Sissoko was kind of running all over the place, covering coming for Rose and coming for Sanchez, couldn't really help him a lot. So he was kind of on it by himself a lot of the time against those central midfielders, and he definitely was able to cope when it was just Torreira, Xhaka and Guendouzi. But once Ceballos came on, that's when he did struggle a lot. And I think once Ndombele comes back into the team, it's going to help with that dynamic in the central midfield between the balance of between muscle and quality. And I think Winks is a good balance between the two. And I think he really definitely put in a really good performance yesterday. I'm really happy with him. And hopefully, he's back in the England squad as well. Hopefully he starts getting the recognition.
He got called up, did he?
Yeah, he did get called up. And hopefully he starts again getting that recognition he was getting last season for his good performances, because people are starting to doubt him.
Yeah, he offers something in the England midfield that no one else can offer, and the reason people were so hard on Winks at the start of this season, not the back end, like just the start of this season, was because everyone knows he's got that ability, and we just want him to show it.
All right, next up, Erik Lamela. We gave him a 7. In terms of energy and obviously the customary Erik Lamela yellow card,
it wouldn't be any game without a Lamela,
especially in North London derby. What you're going to get from Erik Lamela. Good stuff, good high energy, good pressing.
You said you wanted Lamela to start.
I did, because I thought we needed that in this kind of game. We can't have any passengers. And Erik Lamela certainly wasn't that. I think on the break as well, he looked dangerous, although there was a few opportunities he probably could have done better with. But as well, he got an assist for the goal. Although it was a weak shot, Leno probably should have either held on to or parried further away from goal. But he did get taken off after an hour, which I think was probably time. Probably ran more than most. But I thought it was a good hour from him, and he was also involved in that move, which led to Kane hitting the post as well. So he was heavily involved in that. And I think he had a good game, and I think this season Spurs have scored 7 goals, and Lamela has either scored or assisted 4 of them. So I think he's had a pretty good start to the season.
You can't complain about Lamela this season so far. I think he's had a great start to the season.
Like last season.
Exactly, but this is the old Lamela thing, have a great start to the season and fade away. We just need him to be at it for a whole season and consistently.
Yeah, usually injuries is what hampers him. Hopefully he can stay fit, and if he stays fit, I think he's a real valuable member of the squad. I really do. I think he can play multiple positions, and I think having him as a squad player who's versatile, who has quality that he does, I don't think you can complain about that. But it's when he's kind of coming back from injury and we have other injuries and he's forced to start, that's when people can get frustrated with him. But I think he's had a good start to the season. Credit where it's due.
Moving on to Christian Eriksen, we gave him an 8. These are the performances, these are the games that Christian Eriksen really thrives in. Everyone talks about Christian Eriksen not playing well in the big games. It is absolute false. I think he actually plays well in the big games. How many big games has he scored for us in now? Like, so many. I thought he was buzzing around. He was trying to create the whole game. Every time Eriksen gets the ball, you see all the runners running off him, because he's the one that can pick that lock and can find the space. And it proves that in the end of the game, when Arsenal were really on top and peppering us, Eriksen was the one to get that ball and make these chances happen at the end, and we could have won the game, and it would have been all down to him.
Yeah, I thought he was brilliant. I think Arsenal kind of played in our hands a bit in terms of, in the first half, they really didn't pick up Eriksen. If you can't give Eriksen time on the ball, because he will punish you. And obviously, he did get the first goal. There was probably really poor defending from Arsenal, but he was the one following up, and it wasn't the defenders.
You won't get an easier goal than that, will you? In North London derby?
No, you won't. But you got to give him credit for because it's easy for attackers to kind of just give up or not follow up on shots, and he was there to tap it in. I thought he was a danger all throughout the game. Just a bit. Only thing I would say about Eriksen is a couple times in that first half, we had really promising chances to kind of get in behind Arsenal, and he just got the passes a tiny bit wrong a couple of times. And if he gets those passes spot on, Spurs were probably in another couple of times, and that could have led to probably another goal. So that's a bit of a frustration there. But I thought in the first half especially, what a performance that was. That a great free kick as well, which led to the penalty. He forced a great save out of Leno, and I thought Arsenal really couldn't handle him, and I thought it was a great display. And looks like now he's going to stay, given the transfer window is about to pass by the end of tonight. And that's a real positive move for us, and I think if he can stay for the season, I think our squad has so many great midfield attacking options now.
Yeah, I just really want him to sign that contract, because we're so much better when he's on the pitch, like especially in these games where where teams don't sit like 11 men. Well, actually both, because, you know, when teams sit 11 men behind the ball, we need him to pick that lock, because there's not many players that can do it as well as him. And when we have a team come to attack, you know, he's that central guy to all our attacking play. So look, he's imperative to us. He really is. But anyway, moving on to Heung-min Son, we gave him an 8. Absolutely sensational display from him. He was our most dangerous attacking player, I felt. I thought Maitland-Niles probably still having bad nightmares of him like every night, because I thought he completely skinned him alive. And it's a shame he didn't get that goal, because I thought that shot where pulled a great save off Leno, you know, that banana shot from the edge of the area,
which is that's his forte.
That's his forte. Usually you see Son gobble up those chances, but it was a great save, to be fair. But just all in all, a great display, I thought.
He was definitely our brighter spark going forward. He was definitely the player that Arsenal had the biggest difficulty in dealing with. He had so many opportunities. He was literally playing on the last shoulder throughout the game, especially in the first half. And time after time after time, he was getting in.
And first half, did you see on Match of the Day when they were pointing out Poch was saying, just get it to Sonny, get it to Sonny, get it to Sonny.
That was one of my point before on Eriksen, was he had a couple of opportunities to find Sonny to get in behind.
You saw how frustrated Poch was.
Just missing out on those passes. It was just a bit off. The Son, he was absolutely brilliant. His direct running really gave them something to think about. Only frustration with Son is in the second half, he had 2 really good opportunities to either get a shot off or play a good pass.
Too much dilly-dallying a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Get a pass into a player who was free in space in a better position, and he chose to dribble, try and get past another player or two, and the chance was lost. And that's quite frustrating, because it was, again, 2 really good opportunities to push home our advantage, which we failed to take. And at the end of the day, it cost us, because Arsenal went on to get the point. So Sonny has to improve that. But it was a second game back after.
Good sign from Sonny, because he was much better than last game.
But again, these kind of games, they suit Son, because all that he has oceans of space in behind. He's going to run in that all day long, and not all teams are going to give him that kind of space.
I couldn't believe how much space they were leaving in behind for him, because it was literal suicidal. Because if we would have got our passing on point, we could have been well away for that first half. We could have been 3-4-0 up.
And I think it's good for Son to get back in the groove. He also won the penalty as well for the second goal, which was a ridiculous challenge from Xhaka, and I can't believe he didn't get booked for it.
Yeah.
And apparently Xhaka made 7 fouls yesterday.
I said to you during the game, Xhaka should be sent off.
He should have been off. He should have been off twice. It was ridiculous. Stats from UREF Insights, we'll check the link in the description below. 94% of people agree that was a penalty in the first half. Definite penalty. No one could complain about that. I thought he had a good display.
Yeah, go on.
Last on the 11, Harry Kane, we gave him a 7. I thought it was a decent display from him. I thought that he obviously dispatched a penalty with aplomb, as he usually does in North London derby.
Yeah, his annual North London derby penalty at the Emirates.
Yeah, exactly. He can stop them home with his eyes closed now, I think. He loves the North London derby, Harry Kane. That's 10 in 10 now, our most goals in the North London derby. He also won the header, which led to the first goal, which after he counter-attacked, it was crucial winning that. He'd done it a couple of times, and whenever he seemed to win a header, it seemed to set up a dangerous attack.
I thought he pretty much won all his headers that came up to him.
I wouldn't say all, but a good number of them.
A high percentage anyway.
Yeah, he did. He won a good number of those headers, and then also, but I think the turning point is he had that chance to score in the second half.
He towards the post,
smack inside.
To be honest, it's only really a half chance, because he's in such an angle. He makes it look a lot easier chance than it is. The way he finishes that and hits the inside of the post, it's much harder, that shot, than it actually looked.
It wasn't an easy chance, but a player of Harry's quality, you always back him in that kind of situation, and he just smacked the inside of the post. He was so close to making it 3-1, and I think if he makes it 3-1 there again, I think we take home the 3 points. But fine margins of this game cost us. Obviously, he had that penalty shout at the end. According to UREF, 70% of fans believe that it was not a penalty and the referee got it right. I think it was a penalty. I really do think Socrates fouled him. But I can't stand these people who say, "Oh, look at Kane. He's leaning into the player. He's
trying to shield the ball."
Yeah, I don't understand. Is it a crime to try and shield the ball now? Yeah, obviously, if you shield the ball, you're going to move your body so it's harder for the defender to get it. It doesn't give the defender a license to just push you with two hands and knock you to the ground. I don't understand that logic. Like, I remember a couple of years ago when Liverpool played Everton, and I think it was Lovren. He gave a foul away against, I think it was Calvert-Lewin at Anfield, and the referee gave a penalty, and everyone was saying, I thought it was really soft. I thought, Calvert-Lewin's gone down easy. And all the pundits were saying, well, Lovren has two hands on him, so it's a push, so it's a definite penalty. I think the referee's got that completely right. Klopp was like, I remember Jurgen Klopp was like talking about how I thought it was a really soft decision, but the reporter interviewing him was like, yeah, but he did have two hands on him. And all of a sudden, two hands means nothing when it comes to Harry Kane. It was even though he was clearly pushed over. I thought it was a ridiculous decision. I thought it was a definite penalty, and I thought it was really poor defending by Socrates. So it was really clumsy as well to put two hands on Kane's back and push him over. I don't care if Kane was going into him or not. It doesn't give him license to foul him. So it's ridiculous logic to think it does. So I think the referee got that wrong.
True words, and I don't understand how 70% of fans as well, they must all be gooners. So.
Literally, yeah. Look,
I've seen Arsenal fans saying it is a penalty, so look.
I can understand why they're saying it, but I think their logic is flawed. I don't think that it's correct. I think these pundits as well, you're seeing these pundits on TV talking about how, Kane's looking for it, Kane is looking for the contact. I'm sorry, he pushed him with two hands. You can't look for that. Kane can't take Socrates' hands and push him into his back.
They said he was already going down before he was even pushed. So, but
he was shielding the ball. It's not a crime to shield the ball. You're allowed to position your body to make it hard for the defender to get the ball. That's not a crime. 100%. You're allowed to do that, and it doesn't give the license for the defender to push you over. All right, that's my rant about that over. Pochettino, gave him a 7. I thought he got his tactics absolutely spot on in the first half. I thought, in fact, if it wasn't for, it was only Spurs themselves that cost themselves going in at halftime more than 2-0 up. Because I think having Son and Kane up front in that diamond formation really paid dividends time after time. I thought Son was catching them out time after time. That was clearly what Pochettino wanted in his pre-match tactics. And I think that we sat deeper than we usually sit, but we didn't lose that intensity in that fight that we usually have. And I thought we were helped by Emery getting it wrong, I feel.
Because he got it back right in the first
but he changed it, which is the reason we only gave Poch a 7, because he kept Sanchez on longer than he needed to stay on, because I thought he was struggling a lot, and we needed someone who was comfortable on the ball on that right back slot to kind of give us an outlet on that right hand side, and Sanchez wasn't providing that, and I thought he should have seen that. He should have brought Aurier into right back, and I thought that was a mistake. But I thought it was a good tactical plan from Pochettino, and it was definitely a step in the right direction in terms of performances. And I'm just hoping now the window's closed, the squad can be a lot tighter, and we can go in for a good season now.
Yeah, the one other bad thing I would say from Poch is that I felt the game was absolutely crying out for Lucas Moura.
Yeah.
And I felt he should have come on instead of Lo Celso. I know Lo Celso came on and played well, and but I just think we needed someone like Lucas who could just get the ball, beat a few men and run at them, because they were so vulnerable on that counter-attack. I felt
leaving so much space.
Exactly, they were leaving so much space. Imagine we had Sonny and Lucas up there, but Sonny went off as well.
Yeah, but taking your point, if you're taking off Son, which you did, which some people disagreed with, then bring on Lucas if you're to continue that, because once Son went off, the threat of the counter-attack completely disappeared. We had
we still had a few chances.
We had two, I would say. One with Dele Alli, which he could have done better. One with Harry Kane in the last minute. But other than that,
and the Sissoko one as well.
That was Harry Kane. Sorry, right. Harry Kane played into Sissoko, who missed. But other than those couple, we did struggle to really get anything on the break. And I think if Lucas was on the pitch, we would have been lightning on that break, and it would have been a different story. We definitely could have got some joy out of that. And Lucas is probably disappointed. He's sitting on the bench.
He deserved to come on the pitch as well. With performances the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's had a good start to the season, so he's probably a bit disappointed he wasn't involved. I'm not sure why, but I don't think you can have too many complaints about Pochettino after that game. I mean, look, we have a few valid ones, but I think he got his tactics spot on for the most part, and I think it was a good tactical plan. And if Spurs were just a bit better with their passing or a bit more clinical in the final third, we'd definitely be winning this game. But again, if we don't concede that goal right at the end of the first half, which has nothing to do with Pochettino, it's to do with Spurs' sloppiness, then I think also we win the game. So he must be a bit frustrated we didn't go on and win this game. But again, he's probably a bit relieved that at the end of the game,
Arsenal they destroyed us in the second half.
Especially the last half an hour, they completely destroyed us.
Denis Ceballos looks a proper player.
Yeah,
he really
I can see why we wanted him, and I can see why he's going back to Madrid next season.
Yeah. And two quick mentions on the subs. Lo Celso, who come on, I touched on before. I thought he looked really good, looked really tidy player.
Really composed. That was impressive. And in a very intense atmosphere in North London derby, I thought he came on and he wasn't overawed by it. Had a few nice touches, and I was impressed.
And Dele Alli. First game back of the season.
I thought he actually had a decent cameo. I thought he got involved quite a bit.
Should he have got a penalty?
Yes, 100%. I can't
get a penalty or a free kick.
I think it was a penalty, and I think it was a rugby tackle. It should have been a definite penalty. I can't again. Denis Ceballos has got two hands around him, drag him down. Everyone was convinced the Lamela one against Rodri was a penalty. That wasn't even half as bad as what Ceballos did to Dele Alli. That was 100% stonewall, cast iron penalty against Dele Alli, and I'm not sure what VAR is doing not overturning that because it's just so blatant.
It's not clear and obvious.
Foul. Yeah, what is clear and obvious then? Do you have to get a boot in the face?
I hate this term, clear and obvious. It pisses me off.
I don't understand the logic of it. It's a bit
frustrating. I don't know what's clear and obvious. If it's a foul, it's a foul. There's no clear and obvious about it.
And I don't know if the referee saw it and he decided not to take any action. That's why VAR didn't overturn it, or he missed it. And VAR said that VAR's thinking there wasn't enough evidence, but it's a stonewall penalty against Dele Alli. I don't know whether his reputation for diving has preceded him or whatever. It's very
We've seen it before, him not diving, being fouled and
not getting a penalty.
Yeah, we've seen it before. And now it's happening with Harry Kane as well.
But yeah, look, that was really frustrating. But I thought it was a good little cameo from Dele Alli as well. And now Ali's back, and now Eriksen's staying. We'll do a video later about our review of the window because I didn't want to do a review before the European window is closing. It closes tonight, I think. I think midnight. I'm not sure. I think midnight.
I had a feeling it was closing tomorrow, but maybe that's because it's at midnight.
I think midnight. Yeah. That's probably why. I didn't want to do a review because I wasn't sure how the score was actually going to look until the window was actually closed. So I think that's why I'm holding off on that. We'll do one soon, so look out for that. But now we've got Dele, Eriksen, Lo Celso, Son, Lucas, Lamela. That's 6 pretty quality attacking midfielders at our disposal this season. I don't think depth can be called upon now in terms of an issue for us because look at those options we have, and that's a really good thing to have. And now Dele's coming back, and I think we're going to need him this season. Yeah, and Pochettino seemed a lot more positive after that game. You know, he was saying after the game that he's going to have a party at the end of the window, and there's only one way to go, and that is up. And we're going to build our confidence from here. Now he knows that we've got a settled squad. No players going to be leaving. I think all things are looking good for Tottenham at the moment. Alright, well those are our player ratings. A nice long one for the North London derby. Check out our content coming up. Obviously throughout the international break I'm sure we'll have a bit of content. We'll have a transfer window review for you, and we're going to have the match day content back with the Crystal Palace at home game after the international break. Like, subscribe if you like our content. Let us know what your player ratings were, and as always, come on Spurs!